And so, yeah, I think one of the reasons why I really wanted to make my own money was because I didn't want to be a burden to my parents. And Jack, I saw a Jack that had, Jack had always gone to school, and my papa and mama would pay for his education, and he wouldn't have to work. And I didn't think that was right, so I made a choice even before I finished high school that I would pay my way through college, and and make my own money and buy my own car and everything else. So I've been working since I was 14.
Did you consciously take on that role of being more of a parent? Because I do remember Mama not being around very much when I was a child. I remember you doing everything and cooking all of our meals, and I really don't remember Mama being around very much. Did you consciously take on that role?
What does that mean consciously?
Like you were just like, I want to be, I'll let Mama do her thing,
Yeah, I think so. I think I wasn't forced into it. If you're asking whether I was forced into my role of taking care of my younger sisters, but I just thought it was my role to do that, and I like doing it, and I like taking care of people, and the twins were always sick. They both had asthma, and they were very fragile. I mean, Norn, I think, was a little stronger than Nut, but she still got sick often, but not as often as Nut did. But I remember, even when Nut was like 7, 8, or 10 years old, or even 12 years old, I would still carry her every time she was wheezing. And you imagine me being the same height as Nut, for example, I would still be carrying her, because when you carry her, it makes her feel better. I don't know why. Whenever Nut is wheezing, or Norn, you'd have to carry them ever since they were 9 months old. And that's always been the way that we tried to take care of them. And yeah, and I would do all the cooking or the bad cooking, and it's really not cooking. It's just really opening up spaghetti and meatball cans and putting frozen pizzas in the oven, or ordering pizza, or occasionally taking you out to Chinese food, which was really a treat for us because money wasn't easy to find, and I would give the twins money, an allowance, sort of.
I remember having to work for an allowance.
And I don't know. I was happy to take that role. I was. I didn't do it so much so for Satita because she was just not that much. She wasn't that much younger than I was, so she was helping out.
What was Mama doing at all this time?
You know what? I don't remember. I know 3 months out of the year she was gone. I guess she was there, but I did most of it, didn't I?
I don't remember what she was doing either.
I don't. I guess she was there. Yeah, she was there for sure. But Mama and Papa liked to go out to dinner and go out and stuff, and so they would leave me and Jack to take care of the younger kids quite a bit. And I even remember when we started going, when we moved to the U.S. and I was 6, and the twins were 9 months old, and Grandma was there to help us cook and everything else. And I remember Mama going back to Thailand a few months after we moved, and so I would help Grandma cook, and I would actually feed the twins when they were not. I fed the twins. I've been feeding the twins all of their lives, all of their younger lives. I'm the main person who fed them, basically. Their food when they were very young, and Norn was a very good eater. So she always finished her food very efficiently. But Nut, very slow, and she would keep her food in her mouth for a very long time and eat very little, and she was always sick, and so it was difficult to feed her, and she was thinner. That's why she's smaller. She was smaller, always smaller than Norn when they were little, and Norn would be the more aggressive, the more courageous of the two. and it would be more, the shy and a thinker. She was a thinker, very quiet.
So, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I'd always wanted to be a banker. I knew I was going to be a banker ever since I was 6 years old.
Why is that?
I always wanted to handle money. I like counting money. I like calculating money. I always wanted to be someone that worked in a bank and had a briefcase. So my toy was, when I was 6, was carrying around a briefcase with papers and pencils in my briefcase.
Where do you think that came from? Because I always think of you as liking money too. And where do you think that came from?
No idea. Definitely didn't come from Mama or Papa. I don't know where it came from. It's funny. I always had the idea that I would have to make my own money and make lots of it. And money was something that I needed to buy my own clothes, to buy my own car, to make my life a better life, because I didn't want to depend on my parents at all. It's not because they didn't offer or they didn't want to support me. I made my own decision to support myself, and it's always been that way.
What were your dreams like as a child?
I didn't really have dreams. I'm so shallow. I just really wanted to work in a bank, and be the president of a bank one day. That's what I wanted.
Did you attain that?
No, I didn't. I was the highest rank that I've made. Is a vice president. So close, I guess.
What were you interested in as a child, other than money?
I was interested in working. That's it. Just working, doing anything. I mean, I cleaned toilets my first job at a Chinese fast food restaurant, and so I could do it. I was willing to do anything to make money, and to make it fast, and so I kept up my studies, so that because if I graduated from college, I would make more money. So that's why I went to college, and that's why I went to graduate school, was to make more money, because my boss had said that natha, if you got a master's degree, you would make $1,000 more per month. And I said, okay. So I went to apply and looked for a curriculum that was the shortest, which is 9 months, which is 3/4. And I took it, and I said, here's my master's degree, and they gave me a raise.
How about the tennis? And I remember you buying a lot of clothes, and there were other things, weren't there?
What?
How about the tennis? And I remember you buying a lot of clothes, and there were other things, weren't there? You were interested in?
Tennis was an interest because I made money out of it, because I was able to, because the better I got, because I was on the varsity team. I was one of the 3 single players, and if you can make it to the varsity team, and in the singles, you could put yourself up as a tutor for kids like 6 or 7 years old. So I did that so that I could make a living out of teaching tennis to small kids.
You didn't just like tennis?
I did, I did, but it wasn't like something that I liked a lot in such a way that like a professionally. I didn't think I was going to be a professional tennis player. I like playing tennis, but I liked it more when I was teaching, so I could make money.
Who was your favorite tennis player back then?
I guess Chris Everett Lloyd was my most favorite tennis player, and Anders Jared, and who else did I like? I didn't really like Yvonne Lendl too much. She was really ugly. I guess I liked Anders Jared, but he played singles for a little bit. And Stefan Edberg. I liked Stefan Edberg. They played doubles together, but then Stefan went on to play singles quite a bit. So.
This was back in the 80s. What do you remember about the 80s most?
The 80s, high school, and
What music were you listening to?
music in the 80s. Journey, I think. There was Journey that we listened to. Chicago, I guess. I didn't really listen to too much music. I didn't have time to listen to music. I was too busy working. I wasn't really into music at all when I was younger. I am into it now, much more now than I was before. We listened to the Beatles quite a bit because my brother was really into the Beatles, and so